So good to see you. We're back at it here on this Thursday, September 23rd, 2021, the first full day of autumn. But as we've mentioned all week, summer's hanging on here in the Wenatchee Valley. Beautiful, mild, benign, early autumn, late summer weather, whatever you want to call it. It's going to be gorgeous. Today, Friday, Saturday could set a new record high. Saturday, it's a possibility. Then that big ridge of high pressure that's large and in charge is going to start shifting out of here on Sunday afternoon, and things will start feeling like autumn by the time we get to next week. But that's next week. Enjoy this weekend. It's going to be just gorgeous to get out and enjoy. Wherever you go, of course, this weekend, take us along. We're portable. We stream all the time at ncwlife.com. I'm Dan Kuntz. Lots of news, lots of sports. Mariners won again. Yes. Yankees won again. Yes, yes. Also, we'll talk a little Seahawks. Penalties, of course, have been a significant issue for not just the Seahawks, but for the NFL. The new taunting rules. Pete Carroll touched on that yesterday. Plus, we'll have the Obscura Holiday, some celebrity birthdays, including two very important celebrities celebrating birthdays today. Mike McNaughty has got an opinion today in history, and we're going to replay the interview I did yesterday with Bonnie Orr. With your gardening tips. We always air these on the solstices and the equinoxes. It's full of information. If you missed it yesterday, you have a chance to do it today. And don't forget, it's Thursday. That means Pause for Pets. Junie B, the cat, needs a home. We'll visit with our friends at the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society. Gobs of gooey good sunshine, 54 degrees. The sun's getting the job done right now. Let's see what we got going out here with our Valley View cameras. By the way, the sunrise at 6:49 this morning, so there it is. Coming up over the East Wenatchee Bench. Sunset tonight, 6:56. 12 hours and 7 minutes of daylight today. 12 hours and 3 minutes of daylight on Friday. 12 hours of daylight exactly on Saturday. That's your 12 and 12. It's Saturday, actually 3 days after the beginning of autumn. Good morning to the Rock Island, East Wenatchee area from our cross cam pointed right down the Columbia River towards Rock Island Dam. Camera number 2. I don't know why I talked like that. I don't know what I'm looking at. Help me out there, Uriah. Is that the monitor camera? Is it really? Well, it's pointed to the east. It looks like it. We have a lot of bright lights in the studio, and that camera's kind of dark. That's Tumwater. Okay, it's Milwaukee. I'll just say that. It's Milwaukee, Wisconsin, or Leavenworth, one of the two. Camera number 3. We're off to an auspicious beginning today. Oh, I know what that is. That's the Orondo Rock camera, looking at Lake Aniat, Turtle Rock off in the distance, US 297 to your left. Traffic is flowing smoothly. I think that truck right there is tailgating. Back off a little bit. Give yourself a little room. Good morning to our friends up in the Orondo area and camera number 4. Billy Goat checks in. Spectacular view. Still my favorite. I don't like to play favorites, but that camera is absolutely stunningly spectacular. Alta Lake in the lower right-hand corner, the golf course adjacent to it. The Methow River, Pateris, Brewster, Bridgeport tucked behind the bar. Way off in the distance is Canada, which is to the north of us the last time I looked at my map. Gorgeous view. And good morning to Okanagan County. It's great to see you. All right. As far as the weekend outlook is concerned, no complaints at all. Get out and enjoy. It's going to be beautiful. Doesn't really matter what you do. It's going to be sunny. It's going to be mild. Everybody's going to be bathed in the good stuff. A little breezy at times, nothing we can't handle. And as I mentioned before, we could very well set a record high temperature on Saturday. We'll be bumping up into it. We're going to climb up the ladder even more. We were 76 yesterday from the National Weather Service. Here's your forecast. We'll be a couple of degrees warmer than that, right around 78. Normal high on this date is 74. 53 for the overnight low. We bump up to 81 on Friday. It's going to be a beautiful night Friday night at Wildcat Stadium for the Bridge of Sportsmanship Trophy. It's going to be gorgeous. Saturday, our forecast high of 86, record high on Saturday, the 25th of September, 87 degrees. We'll be awfully close to that. And boy, we've gotten used to breaking records here in north central Washington through this unbelievably hot summer. And then, as I mentioned before, on Sunday, the high pressure will begin to shift. It'll be moving into the northern Rockies, and that means we have chance of some moisture coming off the Pacific Ocean. We could use some rain. We all need rain. We're still in a drought. Could get some. Best chance of that Monday night into Tuesday. So we're going to switch gears to autumn by the middle of next week, but no complaints about the next 3 days. Drop dead gorgeous. All right, 5 minutes after the hour, we have a quick 1 minute break, and then We have a lot of news to get to, and most of it is not good. The news is 1 minute away. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Kids are resilient. I just love their energy. They bounce back so quickly. I love the stories they tell. I love just their charisma, their character. I love to see that subtle smile that you pull out of a kid, when you start talking with them about something they really like. I just love what I do, and I can't imagine I would be as happy doing anything else.
Hello, my name is Brian Brett, the Fire Chief for Chelan County Fire District 1, and I just wanted to talk about how amazing our Rivercom team is. They are intentional, purposeful, and skillful in everything they do, and they are the best at what they do. How they prepare, how they handle the caller, how they coordinate the emergency services, and how they push themselves to be the best. This is the kind of spirit that our Rivercom telecommunicators have. Our community needs you, we need you, we admire you, you're our lifeline.
Sunshine, 54 degrees in downtown Wenatchee, upper 70s today, lower 80s Friday, mid 80s on Saturday. Sunshine for everybody. We start clouding up and cooling down with a little bit of rain possible starting Sunday afternoon. At 6 minutes after the hour, we begin with this story. This was the scene yesterday afternoon as captured by our PTZ camera at about 3:30. 2 people killed after a collision on Highway 2. The collision itself happened at about 3 o'clock at the intersection of the highway and Foster Road. That's near the Big Y Junction. Trooper John Bryant with the Washington State Patrol reports that both fatalities, the driver and a passenger, were in a Chevrolet Camaro that collided with a GMC pickup. Now, the driver was pronounced dead at the scene. The passenger died later at Central Washington Hospital. The driver of the pickup not injured in the accident. Now, the names of the deceased and the circumstances behind this tragic accident not yet available this morning. 3 people were hospitalized after an East Wenatchee man, well, he faces some charges. This was a significant collision. This happened on Highway 28 at the intersection of Niles Street on Tuesday afternoon. Roland Morris, 61 years old, apparently pulled his 2008 Ford Taurus onto the highway off of Nile just before 5 o'clock Tuesday afternoon and collided with a westbound 2819 Honda Odyssey being driven by 88-year-old Kenneth Uptain of Othello. This is all according to the Washington State Patrol. Morris was hospitalized with minor injuries. He faces possible charges of vehicular assault, drunken driving, driving with a suspended license, and failure to have an interlock device on his vehicle. This is all according to the Washington State Patrol. Uptain and his passenger, Beverly Uptain, 86 years old, they were transported to Central Washington Hospital in Wenatchee. Roland Uptain suffering a possible broken wrist, Beverly Uptain possible broken ribs, and those injuries, according to the Washington State Patrol, elevated the charges Morris faces to vehicular assault. Chelan and Douglas County's emergency dispatch system has a new boss. His name is Lowell Porter. He is the former director of Pierce County Emergency Management. He also spent a year as the chief of the Washington State Patrol. Current director Misty V. Brock, who's been with Rivercom for about 25 years, becomes deputy director. Rivercom's administrative board says the reorganization is needed while the agency deals with a critical staffing shortage. About a dozen positions in the dispatch center need to be filled. Rivercom, of course, coordinates the response for every police, fire, and ambulance service call in the Wenatchee Valley. In another sign that this especially volatile wildfire season is starting to wind down a little bit, Chelan County commissioners on yesterday lowered the county's fire danger from very high to high. The lower designation allows recreational campfires in designated areas like campgrounds. The county also reopened the Horse Lake Road to recreationists. The road leading to trails in the foothills has been closed since early August because of wildfire concerns. Chelan County Fire Marshal Bob Plum warned that without rain, though, conditions will likely remain very dry right into the fall. And proposals for redrawing Washington's legislative districts were released on Tuesday, and we could have a new 12th district, or a differently shaped 12th district anyway. The state's 4-member redistricting commission consists of 2 Republicans and 2 Democrats, and they have to redraw local districts to hit a target of about 157,000 people in each district. The 2 Republican proposals would leave the 12th district pretty much intact, with a few expansions around the corners. One Democratic proposal would put Okanagan County in the 7th District and expand the 12th District as far east as the town of Sprague, and the other proposal would expand the 12th District across the Cascades, stretching west to Monroe. The 4 commissioners still taking public input on the redistricting plans. You can email them at the address that you saw on the scene. Comment at redistricting.wa.gov. You're in the loop with the headlines at 10 minutes after the hour. We'll have a newscast for you tonight. We're already building up quite a bit of news in the folder, and we're going to have a lot of news at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock. Eric in the sports anchor chair, Grant in the anchor chair proper. And with the preview, here's Grant Olson.
Good morning, Dan. Coming up tonight on the NCW Life Evening News, we'll have our weekly Pause for Pets feature from the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society. Get ready for a beautiful stretch of weather heading into the upcoming weekend. I'll have all the details in your complete North Central Washington weather forecast. And in sports, Eric Grandstrom has more on the Mariners as they chase a playoff spot and a look at tonight's high school soccer and volleyball matchups. That and all the day's news stories coming up tonight at 5, 6, and 10 on the NCW Life Evening News. We hope to see you then. Dan?
Thank you, Grant. We'd love to hear from you, our viewers. If you want to drop us a note and say hi, or you got a news tip, you can go to our Facebook page and use the Messenger app. You can go to our homepage, ncwlife.com, and click on the Contact Us icon. You can email us directly, news@ncwlife.com. And don't forget, if you want to comment on this particular program, Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, we accept constructive criticism so long as it's unqualified praise. Sports is 1 minute away. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Our experience with NCW Life has been amazing.
People think television and they think it's this huge production thing. It's really expensive.
It's crazy how affordable it is. I couldn't believe it.
It's not as expensive as we thought it was going to be.
I would say I was really surprised to see that it was actually comparable to radio ads or print media.
It was really affordable.
I'm here at the Discovery Center at Rocky Reach Dam, where there's a ton of cool stuff to do. You can learn how the dam harnesses the power of the Columbia, walk inside a Native American Tule Lodge, and steer clear of disaster on the Rock Island Rapids. You can check out the new fish viewing space and even stare a salmon right in the eye. Explore all this and more at Chelan County PUD's brand new Discovery Center at Rocky Reach Dam, now open year-round.
"13 minutes after the hour, the push for the playoffs continues, and the Mariners are playing good baseball right when they're supposed to be playing good baseball. Same scenario that we've seen all week long down in Oakland. Good pitching, timely hitting, good defense. Seattle knocks off the Athletics 4-1. It's 4 in a row now for the Mariners. It all started on the mound. Chris Flexen, he allowed just 1 run, 3 hits, 7 innings pitched.
The 2-2. Swing and a miss. Good fastball to 95. First punch out tonight for Chris Flexen. That drops in. How about that hook? It freezes Olson. Couple of strikeouts for Flexen right out of the gates. Another 1-2. And he got him. He dots him on the outside corner. 3 straight strikeouts for Chris Flexen. White Spikes. Don't you have to have something? Strike 3 called. 95-mile-an-hour fastball. Center cut, and he rips right through it. 3-2. Swing and a miss. Swing and a miss. Swing and a miss. Fastball off the plate. How about 3 straight strikeouts from Chris Flexen and 8 in total?
Mariners got an early lead thanks to our good friend Kyle Seager, his 35th home run of the season, and he drove in his 100th RBI.
Seager with a deep drive out to right center. This is gone! Home run, Kyle Seager! With 1 swing of the bat, he becomes only the 9th Mariner in franchise history with a 35-homer, 100 RBI season. Another fantastic milestone for one of the all-time great Seattle Mariners, Kyle Seager.
Ty France chimed in too. He went deep later in the game to give the Mariners a little bit of a cushion.
Like within the same at-bat, you're saying.
Or even maybe the next time.
Kemp watching, and this disappears. It is gone for a home run. Ty France makes it vanish for his 17th. Mariners add on to the lead. It's 3-0 in the 5th inning.
Diego Castilla came on in the 8th. 1-2-3, done, done, done. Drew Steckenrier into the 9th to finish the game off.
Canna going after the first pitch. Straightaway center field. Kelnick puts it away. The Mariners have taken the first 3 games in Oakland. They have secured a series win. And the Seattle Mariners now a season best. 14 games over 500. And they have moved on by the A's in the wild card race.
Mariners go for the sweep. It's an afternoon game. 12:37 first pitch. Let's see. Yusei Kikuchi will take the mound. Chris Bassett will toe the rubber for the Athletics. Now, even though the Mariners moved up to second place in the American League West and they passed Oakland in the wild card race, they can't win their division. Houston clinched the American League West with their victory over the Angels yesterday. So there you go. The Angels did win the division. The Yankees broke a 3-3 try on Yankees won on a 3-3. It was 3-3, and then Gleyber Torres had an RBI double in the 8th. Yankees knocked off Texas 7-3. So the wild card race, the American League, another shakeup. Tampa Bay secured their playoff spot with a 7-1 win over Toronto. Boston beat up the Mets 12-5. So the Red Sox stay a game and a half in front of the first wild card playoff spot. The Yankees are now back in the second spot. Toronto falls a half game back. The Mariners leapfrog Oakland 2.5 games back. 7 games left to play. The NFL has put an emphasis on taunting this year. They're asking officials to throw more flags, and officials are throwing more flags. 11 unsportsmanlike conduct penalties have been called in the first 2 weeks of the season. 3 of those against the Seahawks, 2 of those against DK Metcalf. Coach Pete Carroll told the press yesterday DK is learning how to be aggressive without overdoing it.
I'm okay about what he's trying to do. He's battling and he's competing like crazy, but we have to do it within the guidelines, and so that's really important. It's kind of that messaging is important for our whole club after last week. You know, we had a lot of things happen that we didn't need to have happen. Stuff that happened after the play was, finished, and we gave away a ton of yards in situations that we have to do better at, and he was part of that.
Seahawks take on Minnesota this Sunday. Seahawks 1-1. Minnesota is 0-2. But despite that, Pete Carroll says Kirk Cousins may be playing the best football of his career right now.
He looks terrific. He's throwing all of the throws, whether it's the drop back stuff or the action stuff, on the edge. He uses the whole field. He uses all the rhythms. They're good in the quick game. They're good down the field on their play passes, and he's got guys that he can go to that make things happen on the edge outside. So he's looked really good, and he's accurate, and his arm is strong, and he's taken off a couple times and made some yards. So this is I see him as good as I've ever seen him. I think he looks that sharp starting the season.
Seahawks and the Vikings Sunday 1:25 on Fox. Week 4 of the high school football season gets underway tonight. Thursday night action. Haniat travels to Pateras to battle the Billy Goats. That's a 6 o'clock kickoff tonight. And then at 7 o'clock, you got Chelan hosting a non-league game against Tenasket at Sargent Field. Busy day in the pitch in girls soccer. The small schools take center stage. Ephrata travels to Ellensburg. Quincy will host East Valley of Yakima. Omag visits Cascade at 4:30. Brewster is at Lake Roosevelt. Manson travels to Okanagan. And Kashmir will host Chelan tonight at 6:30. Volleyball. Aniat will host Riverside Christian at 5:30. Pateras will visit Easton. The 6:30 games have Tenasket at Brewster. Manson will host Tenasket. Waterville, Mansfield, Bachman Turner Overdrive will visit Soap Lake. Ephrata is on the road at Othello. Bridgeport will host a Moses Lake Christian at 7. And the big game tonight will be there at the Wenatchee High School Gymnasium. It is Eastmont and Wenatchee, both programs coming off big wins on the road on Tuesday. Panthers upsetting West Valley. The Wildcats came away with a big victory over Sunnyside. Eric Granstrom courtside, 6:45 tonight, right here on the NCW Life channel. And those are just some of the games that people are playing on this Thursday, the 23rd day of September. Happy Great American Pot Pie Day today. It is a comfort food staple, the pot pie. Does it get any better than that? It's a bachelor's best friend. Nothing wrong with Swanson's and Marie Callender's or whatever, the frozen pot pies. You stick them in the oven. Anything on it. Homemade pot pies are actually easy to make. You can buy the pie crust already done, and then you can throw in whatever you want. You know, your chicken, your beef, your pork, your peas, your carrots, your turkey, whatever it is. You can make your own custom pot pie, warm it up. You can make a bunch of pot pies at the same time and put them in the freezer, and nothing makes your house smell better than a freshly baked, freshly made pot pie hot out of the oven. It's a crowd pleaser. Great dinner and it's a one-dish deal. You cook it, you're done. The great American pot pie day. Again, you make it in the wintertime. I do anyway. And it's so easy to make at home. Tastes better too. 20 minutes after the hour. Today in history. They're back. Yeah, Meriwether Lewis and Bill Clark. They made it back to St. Louis on this date, September 23rd, 1806. The Corps of Discovery made it back to St. Louis. Meriwether Lewis, not directly quoted, but William Clark told the press in St. Louis upon their return, "I really need a shower." That's what I was told. It took the Corps of Discovery 555 days to go from St. Louis to the Pacific Ocean. It only took them 185 days to get from the Pacific Ocean back to St. Louis. There was a couple of reasons for that. On their trip west, apparently their GPS was on the fritz. Wasn't working particularly well. No, actually, on their trip west, of course, they didn't know where they were going. They had no maps, it was pretty much guesswork. But of course, the trip back, they knew where they were going. They had a path, and it was mostly downhill when it came to hopping into the rivers with the canoes. So Lewis and Clark made it back on this date in 1806. The most controversial baseball game, perhaps of all time, was played on this date. Very famous in baseball lore at the Polo Grounds in New York City, September 23rd, 1908. Here's the scenario. It's the bottom of the ninth inning. The score is tied at 1-1. There are 2 outs. Moose McCormick of the Giants is on third base. Fred Merkle is on first base. Al Bridwell steps to the plate. He hits a base hit to center field. McCormick scores. The Giants win 2-1. Fred Merkle watches McCormick cross home plate and immediately takes a beeline for the Giants clubhouse, which is located beyond center field. Hey, the winning run scored. I'm going to run off to the clubhouse before the crowds mob the field, because they used to do that all the time. Fred Merkle, however, neglected to touch second base. Well, there was a lot of confusion, a lot of pandemonium. Fans stormed the field. The umpires got together, and they said, Fred Merkle has to touch second base. In the meantime, they found the baseball, or a baseball, and somebody ran and touched second base, and they said, guess what? Fred Merkle, you're out. McCormick, your run doesn't count. Huge controversy, huge problem. The president of the National League declared the game a tie, and they said just on the off chance that at the end of the season, if the Cubs and the Giants are tied, they'll replay the tie game on the off chance that this actually happens. Well, at the end of the 1908 regular season, sure enough, the Cubs and the Giants were tied, so the Cubs and the Giants played another game to make up for the tie game because of Fred Merkle's mistake. The Cubs won, and therefore won the pennant, and will go on to win the World Series because Fred Merkle neglected to touch second base. Fred Merkle played baseball for 16 years. His manager, John McGraw, never blamed him for losing the pennant. When Fred Merkle retired, he said, when I die and they print my obituary in the New York Times, it's going to say, Fred Merkle, 67, ball player, dies, known for his boneheaded play in 1908. And there's Fred Merkle's obituary in the New York Times. That's what he's remembered for. And finally, 64 years ago today, That'll Be the Day, the only #1 hit from Buddy Holly and the Crickets, goes to #1 on the Billboard Hot 100. I bet you a month has not gone by over the last 40 years when I haven't played That'll Be the Day at least once. It was the second recording of That'll Be the Day. He recorded That'll Be the Day for Decca a year earlier. Nobody bought it. It wasn't very good. They redid the song at Norman Petty's studios in Clovis, New Mexico, and it went to #1, one of the all-time iconic rock and roll songs. That'll Be the Day, #1, Buddy Holly, September 1957. And finally, birthdays, 3 musical legends. The second greatest saxophonist in jazz history is John Coltrane. Number one is Charlie Parker, personal opinion. But a close second is John Coltrane, born in the state in 1926. Blue Train, Soul Train, Lush Life, A Love Supreme, Giant Steps. He worked with Miles Davis. He worked with Thelonious Monk. He worked with everybody. The guy could play the saxophone as good as anybody. And like most jazz legends, he didn't live very long. He died in 1967 at the age of 40. But the music rolls on. John Coltrane. Ray Charles, the genius. One of those half dozen people who permanently changed and influenced American popular music. He was the best. Ray Charles, born in the state in 1930. I go on Ray Charles kicks quite a bit. I'll spend like an entire day listening to nothing but Ray Charles. We lost Ray Charles a number of years ago at the age of 73. The genius. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, the inaugural class of 1986. We miss Ray Charles. Bruce Springsteen, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, class of 1999. What else do you say about the boss? Happy 72nd to Bruce Springsteen. One great actor, Jason Alexander. Did you see him at the Emmys on Sunday night? Of course, he played George Costanza on Seinfeld. He was nominated for 7 consecutive Emmy Awards for Best Supporting Actor in a Comedy and didn't win once. He has a Tony Award. You'd think he'd have an Emmy or 2 or 5. He has none. Happy 62nd birthday to Jason Alexander. Jonathan Mandalis is 31 years old today. We have a picture of Jonathan. Throw it up there. Where's Jonathan at? There he is. Get your hair cut. Jonathan Mandalis, 31 years old today. That comes from your wife and the whole crew here at the NCW Live channel. And when I got this text from my sister this morning, I was blown away. My nephew Jeffrey is 40 years old today. He's 40 years old today. That's not Jeffrey. That's his son Colin, who's a lot cuter than Jeffrey. Quite frankly, so is his son Thomas and his wife Juliana. They're all much better looking than Jeffrey, so instead of throwing Jeffrey's picture up, I threw up Colin's picture instead. Happy 40th birthday, Jeff. The Kuntz family loves you. Jeffrey was a late bloomer when it came to talking. He didn't talk until he was like 3, and then for the last 37 years, we haven't gotten him to shut up. Happy 40th birthday to Jeffrey, and hi, Colin. How you doing? And that's birthdays at 27 minutes after the hour. Mike Magnotti's got an opinion, a brand new one. You've never heard it because we've never aired it. Plus, we're going to re-air my conversation with Bonnie Orr on what you need to know about gardening tips with the expert herself. But first things first, it's time for Pause for Pets. Let's see, Julie B., the cat, needs a home.
This week on Pause for Pets, Haley from the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society introduces us to a very affectionate cat named Junie B.
Hi, my name is Haley and I'm with the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society. And with me here is Junie B. Junie B is about a year old. We don't know for sure because she came in as a stray. She came in with a few other cats and she was with her sister for a while in her own kennel and her sister got adopted. So we know that she is good with other cats. If you do have another cat and want Junie B, we recommend slow introductions at first, but I'm sure they could get along fine as she's a very outgoing, social, affectionate little girl. If they are interested in adopting Junie B, they can come down to our shelter. We are open 7 days a week. We are closed from 1:30 to 2:30 daily for quiet hour for pets. That way they can get a nap during the day. But they can come in during any time during our open hours to come down to meet her.
Hey everyone, Fletcher and Amy Ellington here from Live It Up. In the investment world, ROI stands for Return on Investment. Well, how does better health, better wealth, and better relationships sound for ROI? Join us every week right here on NCW Life and learn how to invest in the most important asset, you.
We're going to answer your questions and provide some weekly inspiration so you can create a life that you love. Join us on Live It Up.
Alta Cellars Winery is a family-owned boutique winery featuring structured wines from some of the most sought-after vineyards in Washington. Time-honored winemaking techniques blend with New World style to create reds and whites that are captivating. Located in the original firehouse in downtown Manson, the spacious indoor-outdoor setting provides the perfect backdrop to indulge in a sit-down wine experience. You're invited to come enjoy this firsthand at Alta Cellars, now open in Manson.
As the sun sets on another hot summer, let the experts at Blue Lagoon Pool and Spa winterize and close your pool. Closing your swimming pool is the most important service to get right. Letting the professionals from Blue Lagoon Pool and Spa close your pool will ensure that you won't cost yourself thousands of dollars in damage next year. Want to save a little money? Consider dropping the water level yourself and save. Don't wait. Blue Lagoon's pool closing schedule is filling up quickly. Call today.
Hey, this is Mike Mad Dog McNaughty, and everybody's entitled to my opinion. Now, I recently saw a tourism ad for Seattle. You know, those ads that promote a city, a state, telling you how great it is to visit. So it's so great that you need to come and spend all your money. You know what ad I'm talking about. Well, this ad was basically telling you that Seattle was clean and safe, and it ended by saying something like, come to Seatown. Seatown? I have the feeling that the city of Seattle is trying to improve its image, and I'd have to say, Seattle's image needs improving. I don't think I need to go into a lot of detail about that, but Seattle is not the city it was when Rosie and I were living there back in the late 70s. And calling themselves Seatown? This is Mike Mad Dog McNaughty, and that's my opinion.
North Central Washington, I want to invite you to join NCW Tech Alliance on September 29th from noon to 1 p.m. as we celebrate the 20th Innovator Awards. 5 new award winners will be announced live, along with special recognition for honorees Andrew Metcalf, Stemelt Growers, and Doug Merrill. Thanks to the generosity of Microsoft and our presenting sponsors, the Innovator Awards is free to watch online. We'll see you on September 29th.
I'm John Divis from Wenatchee Dental Arts, and I like to think myself as a comprehensive dentist. We are an office that treats people comprehensively for their dental problems. We do a lot of general dentistry in a broad sense. We don't send everything out. Things that we have the ability to do in the office, we like to keep in the office and under one roof and keep things as complication-free as possible. You can come to one place and have all their dental needs taken care of.
Succession is leading the way for a new generation of Chelan wineries. Named Platinum Winemaker of the Year in 2017 and the one to watch in 2018 by Wine Press, Succession is setting the pace. Award-winning wines are just a part of the overall experience. Add live music on Sundays and fantastic views, and you have it all. Succession Wines, located on the north shore of Lake Chelan between Chelan and Manson.
Welcome back to Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. I am Dan Kuntz. This lady always brings a smile to my face and a font of gardening and yard care information. It's that time of the year again. The autumnal equinox is upon us. Summer is done. Autumn is here. The do's and don'ts with Bonnie Orr. And the first thing we remind everybody, because we always do these on the solstices and the equinoxes, for the autumn solstice, you put your lawn and your garden to bed the proper way this time of the year. Come spring, it makes everything that much easier, doesn't it?
It does. Did you see the moon this morning?
Spectacular.
Spectacular.
Huge.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's because it's a full moon, because it has to do with the equinox. So, you know, I think that the fall is a busy season, more so even than spring, because if you do things right, then you don't have to worry about it. And I'm sort of going to, we're here in the Chelan Douglas Master Gardeners demonstration garden called the Community Education Garden.
And it's here for a reason, because you should come here to not only get ideas, but the people who maintain this know what they're doing.
Yeah, yeah. So, but this is the time to walk around your yard and take pictures. I've always talked about record keeping, and it's amazing when you look back, you know, when something ripens, when, you know, weather types of things, when a bird appears and disappears. But if you take pictures of your garden now, in January when you get those catalogs that are going to want you to buy all sorts of things, you, instead of going crazy, you have a picture of going, will that fit in there? Or, ooh, I really need to redo this. So it's time to redo some things. It's time to plant shrubs and trees.
And there's a specific reason for that.
Because the ground is still warm. You can do it until the ground is 40, and they don't have the heat to contend with.
And boy, and I've seen this everywhere in north central Washington as I've driven around. The heat really got to a lot of trees, didn't
well,
it?
You know, we have in this garden, well, anywhere where there were rocks, pavement.
Asphalt.
Asphalt, you know, anywhere, just scorched them. But those trees and shrubs are going to grow back. They just lost their current season's leaves, so don't chop the things down.
Okay, that's very important. We were at the Wenatchee Convention Center a couple of weeks ago, and they have the large kind of wall of trees, arborvitae, whatever it is, that blocks the parking lot from the Burlington Northern Santa Fe Railroad tracks. It only acts as a aesthetic buffer, but also an acoustical buffer, and they all look like they were just
look at, I mean, it is really hot there in that space. Yes, no, I think that they will come back. Good. I could be wrong. It could be they forgot to water them too. I have no idea.
I don't know if they even, I think the water comes from Mother Nature, and we're in a drought. How are we doing
Mother
there?
Nature? Mother Nature has not provided us, Auntie. No. Oh my goodness. This is our 3rd year.
It concerns me a great deal.
Oh, me too. I mean, we have irrigation water and we have house water, but the sagebrush and bitterbrush and all of the native plants in the hills, this is tough going. But we maybe have 3 inches this year for the whole year.
A lot of people's yards, they're green grass. They couldn't water it enough to keep it green and going.
Well, you know, that had to do with we had that little hot spurt at the beginning of June, and then we had the really hot at the end of June. That little hot spot at the beginning of June caused the fescue to go dormant sooner, but then the hot part made it burn out. So a lot of people have spotches of dead because the fescue's gone. I do, and mine has mini clover in it now.
Can I fix it? Because I got that problem right now. I don't have a very big yard, but
you can spray. Yeah, this is the time of year to do it.
Okay. What else do we need to know about lawn care? Just for almost everybody we know has at least a small yard. What are some of the things they need to know as we get deeper into autumn to make sure that their yard is going to make it through winter and get ready to go come spring?
Well, if you've been mowing at 3 inches, you know, toward the end of October, November, you should mow it a little bit shorter so you don't have it flopping down, so there's not a chance of snow mold if we have snow.
That's simple enough.
That's simple enough. It's not necessary to fertilize. But if your lawn has not been happy, and many lawns that were just on the edge of being really good, really took it this summer. So this could be a time to thatch for sure, or aerating.
You brought Little Red Riding Hood brought her little basket here for a little. Boy, some of these look sad and some look happy. What do you have here?
Okay, this is tomatoes.
I'll go ahead and hold them up.
Okay,
and I'll let
now
you
there
talk.
have not been very many tomatoes. It was way too hot for tomatoes to set. When it's over 89 degrees, the pollen dries up. And now it is too cold for them to, when it gets below 60 at night, they stop. Oh, it has been a hard tomato year.
Yeah.
And I'm just canning the first of my tomatoes. But what I wanted to talk about here is that these are not actually that sad. Okay, so we are going to be doing, okay, so this is a ripe tomato.
This one looks happy.
That one looks happy. And these are ripening, okay? They turn pinkish, and then they start to take on some color, okay? This is where they're taking on some color. Now, at this point, you can pick them and store them or put them on the kitchen counter or whatever, and they will ripen, because when the tomato has reached this stage, it has all of the flavor it's going to get.
Okay.
Isn't that just amazing? Most of the time we think that we have to wait till this, but the flavonoids are actually already completed.
because they sell these at the supermarkets because they look aesthetically pleasing,
Right.
but they don't. Basically it's water.
You know, and that's because they picked them at this stage, and they're and the flavor had not been developed.
Not a good year for.
Not a good year for tomatoes, but my figs were great. Oh my gosh, they love the hot weather.
What other? While we're on the subject, and then we're, by the way, again, as Bonnie mentioned, we're at the demonstration garden here at the intersection of Springwater and Western here in Wenatchee. Other fruits and vegetables that either had a really good year or not such a good year that you can remember off the top of your head from your garden.
No, everybody has said, "Oh, you want some cucumbers? You want some squash?" I mean, those things just did. I mean, it was just the tomatoes that didn't do well. Okay. So, anyway, just because tomatoes are so fussy.
They are. You've mentioned that before.
Yeah. They are really, really fussy.
So, go ahead, please.
Things that you want to do before it gets really cold. And who knows when it's going to, I mean, it used to be it snowed on Halloween now.
Sure.
Now it gets cold for Thanksgiving. But sometime between now and then, you need to clean your pots that you used, that you started seedlings, or that you just have transplanted plants from. Do it now with a 10% solution of bleach, because when you want to do it in February, it is very, very cold. And you do not want to do this project in the house because you don't want to pour all the soil from the pot down the drain.
And this is also a good time to do all the maintenance on your garden tools, either your hand tools or your bigger tools.
Yes,
do it now.
Cleaning and sharpening. Sharpening particularly, yeah.
I made that mistake. I went to Stan's Mary Mart. I told Stans I wouldn't mention their name, so ignore that. And I bought a really nice, good, heavy pair of shears that you recommended, as a matter of fact. I didn't take care of them, and now I can't even get the darn things open. But I'm working on it. It was my bad. It was totally my bad. I went out and worked with them, and then what did I do? I just tossed them back in the drawer again without cleaning them or anything like that.
One of the things, it's not dirt like on a pruners, it is the sap. And so if you just soak those in soapy water, it'll do. It's dried sap.
It's a great tool. I just didn't take care of it.
Okay. Anyway, that's it. And people always say, I can't get my loppers sharp enough. Well, when's the last time you washed it? I wash mine pretty much every time I use it. Yeah.
It's kind of like dishes. When you're done eating, do the dishes now. Don't let them pile up in the sink. We're going to take a little walk-see. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to walk around the Community Education Garden, because there's some things right here that are extremely pertinent to what you want to talk about for the autumnal growing season. We're not done yet.
No. I think, I have my carrots and my beets and everything, like, my fall garden, my spinaches.
So you ready to take a break, and then we'll take a hike?
Let's do that.
All right, we're talking to Bonnie Orr, and when we come back, we're going to take a little walk around the Community Education Garden here in Wenatchee at the corner of Western and Springwater to talk about some more detailed things, what you need to know to get ready to put your garden to bed for the autumn and the winter. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We'll be right back.
Few things strike fear in the human heart, like the possibility of a rattlesnake bite. Dogs can encounter rattlesnakes on their walks or in their yards, and being curious, often get bitten on their face, neck, and legs. Luckily, a vaccination is available to help neutralize venom so dogs experience less pain and swelling. Even if your dog has received a vaccine, you still need to seek immediate help. Dr. Shauna Baez and the staff of Paws and Claws care about your pet's health. Call 888-PAWS to schedule your vaccination today.
Chelan Wireless is your Verizon authorized retailer featuring the latest iPhone and Android devices. Personal or business, they have the plan and the customer service you're looking for.
In these challenging times, Bear Foods is open and ready to help. From health to diet to home, we are here to take care of your needs. Bear Foods, the good food store.
From home furnishings to the latest in home entertainment technology, Deepwater Home and Electronics can provide the selection and the connection for your wireless world. We're back here at the Community Education Garden, which is a fantastic place to visit for all kinds of ideas on what you might want to do with your lawn and garden. It's got a whole plethora of plants that thrive here in the Pacific Northwest in this climate, or else they wouldn't be here. Back here with Bonnie Orr. Next on the agenda on the do's and don'ts for autumn is roses. Let's talk roses.
Roses are probably the most popular garden plant. It's just amazing.
Well, they're very hardy.
Oh, and there are so many different kinds. You know, there's shrub roses and there's climbers and there's just all sorts of roses. And right now, you aren't going to do anything. Okay?
Well, this concludes this segment.
Yeah, there we go. Because you're going to enjoy, I think they're going to continue to bloom until the nights probably get in the 40s. And at that point, you could cut them to knee high. Okay? We don't cut on this side of the mountains, we don't cut them lower than that because the chance of snow load breaking them. So we just go there.
And you can be pretty aggressive.
You can just to the knee high. And then you can take care of any kind of problems. And this little rose has had a whole season of being mildewy, and it's because it is being shaded. It doesn't get, you know, full sun like roses really want. So this one has bits more mildew. So I would probably cut off all of the leaves that have the mildew and put them in the trash, because you don't want to have those spores on the ground for next year. So that would be a good thing to do, you know, at this time. And
as we mentioned before, real quickly, roses are great because these things, you have to work harder to kill them than you'd have to make them alive.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the climbers, you really don't do anything with them except in the spring. If you have one of them that's wild and out of sight, you just cut it off to the base. If you do a whack, you know, halfway down, then all you do is get a profusion of branches that you don't want. So that's easy, isn't it?
Is it going to be obvious when it says, okay, this rose bush is done for the year? You're just going to know. It's going to tell you.
Well, there won't be any buds on it.
Okay, that's the simple thing. No buds. It's time to give it a haircut.
That's right.
Where are we off to?
We're going to go look at bulbs, because right now people are purchasing bulbs, and these are spring blooming bulbs, tulips, that type of thing. Well, one of the reasons that people have to replant bulbs is they don't plant them deep enough to start.
Let's go talk about that.
When our soils are too warm, they die.
We're on our way.
We're on our way, okay.
Well, we've walked about 15, 20 feet. I, for one, am winded, so we're going to take a quick break here. We're going to kill 3 birds with 1 stone here. First of all, we're going to talk about
lemon meringue. Isn't that a beauty? People love dahlias. I think here in the valley they grow really, really well, and people just absolutely love dahlias. And they're showy, you know, the big ones, the little ones, all the wonderful colors. These are summer bulbs that are not hardy, so they need to be dug.
Okay.
And they will be dug after a hard frost, maybe in November. And then I put mine in pet bedding. You know, I buy a cube of pet bedding and I just put them in that. You can put them in sawdust, whatever, just so they don't dry out or mold. And then that keeps them in a garage where it will not freeze. So it will be time sometime at the end of October or in November to dig these.
There is a sizable group of people who just love these flowers so much that they even have their own society.
Yes, they do.
That's how passionate they feel about these.
Here in town,
yeah.
You should interview some of those women. I mean, they're and men. I mean, they really are just crazed about it. And at the fair, there's always a big section of beautiful dahlia flowers.
And they've also done that at the Pybus Public Market. They've had their festival down there where they have the sale. Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah,
It's gorgeous. Talk about this lovely specimen.
Okay, this is an ornamental grass, and we love ornamental grasses. And one of the things that happens is that some people decide to you know, winterscape their yard by cutting everything down. And that, you should not be growing ornamental grasses. If you are in the need to have everything tidy and neat and flat for the winter, then do not grow ornamental grasses, because ornamental grasses, they have just now put out their seed pods, and these seed pods are so fabulous with little raindrops on them, with frost on them. The winter interest for these types of things is just tremendous. And so don't do anything until the last week of February, when you cut them off flat. And the reason you do that is at the end of February, you want to cut them before the new growth comes up, so you do not have, you don't trim off the ends of the grasses and have them look funny.
Well, nature itself is disorganized, and nature calls its own rules. So if you want perfection, you're in the wrong hobby anyway.
That's right. That's right. And you know, the people who have lawn lust drive me crazy because they want it to look like a Scott's advertisement. You know.
Yeah.
You know, and so they pour lots of pesticides, lots of fertilizer, lots of water. That is going to go out of style as we go into this drought.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Directly in front of us, in fact, Uriah is going to do a long, slow pan, is a plant that's going to help our feathered friends.
That's right.
In the near future,
this
isn't
is
it?
a type of a rudbeckia, and it is like the echinaceas are another type of thing like that. And this one is a particularly nice one because it, many people buy Niger seed, which is a thing for for thistle feeders, and they call it thistle seed. It's not really thistle seed. This is a homegrown version. And what happens during the winter, you just leave it like that, and the birds, the little tiny birds that weigh, you know, a quarter of an ounce, an eighth of an ounce, they just sit right there on the top and pull the seeds out. It's just an absolute joy. It's a plant that everybody should have in their garden if they are feeding birds.
Well, while we're talking about that, let's talk about our feathered friends. They need a little help from us to get them through the winter like any other plant. What do we need to remember to keep our feathered friends happy?
Water.
Simple as that?
Clean water. Clean water, right. Because there's plenty of people who are feeding, but water is important. Have a little heater.
Right, and because they will do business in the water thing, so you got to be pretty diligent with that.
And you know, it's really important not to be feeding on the ground, because when you have ground feeders and you have your feeder, they poop on the ground, and then that seed then can carry diseases and can kill the birds. So it's very important not to have a place where your feeder is spilling on the ground and the birds are eating on the ground.
Good tip. Good tip.
Yeah.
Where to next?
Where to next? We are going to look, I have to look at my thing here. We're going to look at some of the perennials. Okay.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Well, Bonnie, this is our last stop here at the Community Education Garden here at Springwater and Western, and this is a perfect example of what this garden is all about. A plethora of variety right here.
And this particular garden is a garden of perennials that attract pollinators and butterflies and hummingbirds too, okay? So this is the type of things you grow to attract wonderful things in your garden. But these plants get bigger and bigger, like the catmint, one of the purple flowers that's hanging low, that can become a thug. It can get bigger and bigger. So this is the time of year to cut them. You can just dig right in, separate the plant out, give it to friends, find another place for it. If it is a really bad thug, you give it to people you don't like. But otherwise, this is the time of year, and you want to do it now because you want to do it before the ground is 40, and because the roots continue to grow. So in the same way you plant shrubs and trees, you want to have a chance for roots to grow. When you plant tulips and daffodils, you want to have a chance for the roots to grow, so that in the spring everybody pops up and is as happy as can be.
Well, if you look carefully, you can see the bees are just having a field day today, aren't they?
You know, I have some of the pollinator type plants where my bushes, the plant actually vibrates. Because there are so many pollinators on it.
This is I could sit here and just soak this in all day.
Yes, it's really wonderful.
It's absolutely gorgeous. Have we covered everything? Is there anything else while I have you here, Bonnie, to get your lawn and garden ready to go?
I don't know. We just go out and enjoy the sunshine, okay? Because we certainly didn't enjoy the sun. This has been the windiest year, besides the fact that it's been hot. You know?
It has been windy. You mentioned that too.
Yeah.
It's been windier than I can remember.
Every day until this last week. We had rain. We had wind every single day since March. Just odd. The new normal, whatever that means.
Yeah, I kind of like the old normal, but what do I know?
Yeah.
One last thing, the WSU Master Gardeners are great folks. They really know what they're talking about. If you have any questions at all, take a high definition picture and email it to them to their Gmail address.
Chelan, mastergardeners, one word, @gmail.com.
They are the experts.
We are the experts.
Absolutely.
And we still have a couple of more weeks, I think, of being here on Thursday night from 4 to 7.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but otherwise, yes, we for sure, we always can get back to you.
Bonnie Orr, everybody, making her very first appearance, by the way, on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Thanks for taking your time out with us. We appreciate it. And happy gardening.
Happy gardening.
I will see you December 21st.
I hope so.
You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We'll be right back.
Pretty much is the foundation of my day.
It centers me. It makes me just feel better inside and out.
It's part of my daily routine, basically, so I feel complete, you know.
Not just a physical health, but it's a mental health. And you could almost even say it's a spiritual thing for me to be able to get my workout in on a regular basis.
At Washington Trust Bank, can't is a four-letter word. I think we should hire more people.
Doc, I'm late for a meeting. I'm thinking of starting my own practice.
Do it. Too much capital.
We need a warehouse.
I can't imagine how we do that.
We should knock that wall down and expand.
Do it. There's always another wall beyond the wall.
We believe you can do whatever you set your mind to, and we'll help you get there. Washington Trust Bank, privately owned, locally invested.
In a world afraid of technology, one man, one show will bring you the newest innovations that may just change your life. This summer, Ray McNeil and your Weekly Tech Update is your Weekly Tech Update with Ray McNeil.
Stay active and independent for life. SAIL is an evidence-based strength, balance, and fitness program. The exercises in a SAIL class have been packaged into a formal regimen focusing on 4 key areas important to the health and fitness of mature participants: low-impact cardiovascular, balance work, strength training, and stretching. SAIL classes are designed for people of all fitness levels and can be done sitting or standing. Join us for SAIL on the NCW Life channel. Check your listing for days and times.
Our experience with NCW Life has been amazing.
People think television and they think it's this huge production thing. It's really expensive.
It's crazy how affordable it is. I couldn't believe it.
It's not as expensive as we thought it was going to be.
I would say I was really surprised to see that it was actually comparable to radio ads or print media.
It was really affordable.
We are back. It is 55 degrees in downtown Wenatchee. Temperatures elsewhere, Ephrata, you're at 57. Moses Lake, pretty chilly, 50. Out in the Columbia Basin, Manson, you're at 53. Downtown Dryden, 49. Suburban Dryden, 49 degrees. So we're in for a gorgeous weekend. Just beautiful. Whether you want to call it late summer or early autumn, doesn't matter to me. Going to be a very nice weekend for everybody with the possibility of a record high temperature on Saturday. So the weekend outlook, looking good. If you like sunny and mild, just gorgeous. A little breezy at times in the afternoon hours, especially come Sunday afternoon and Sunday night. Now this ridge of high pressure is pretty large, and it's going to be hanging around here at least through Sunday morning. But then on Sunday afternoon, that high pressure, the axis of it, is going to shift. It's going to start moving away from us. It's going to slide into the northern Rockies, and that's going to allow a little bit of moisture off the Pacific Ocean to come pay us a visit. But that's late Sunday into Monday and Tuesday. For the next 3 days, it's going to be gorgeous. From the National Weather Service, here is your forecast. Lots of sunshine today, high of 78. We hit 76 yesterday. Of course, we had those high clouds. Our normal high this time of the year, 74 degrees. So it'll be a little bit above that. 53 for the overnight low tonight. Into the lower 80s we go on Friday with a high of 81, 56 for the overnight low on Friday. Saturday, again, the record high on Saturday, September 25th, is 87 degrees. And we're going to be pretty close to that on Saturday. May not break a record, but we're going to be bumping up against it anyway. And I don't know when we're going to see 86 degrees again. Probably not until April of next year. Who knows? 57 for the overnight low on Saturday. Sunday, here come the clouds. Most of it will be coming in the afternoon. If you have Sunday plans, most of the day you're looking good, but later in the day as this high pressure ridge begins to break down and move east, that's going to allow some clouds to come in. Could even see some late afternoon rain on Sunday, Sunday night. Best chance of measurable rain, and yes, we need it, Monday night into Tuesday is our best chance of rain for the valley, and we could use it. All right, that's it for us. Have a great Thursday. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Take care. Bye-bye.